Rev up your engines! Here's perhaps the best Hummer ever made. It's an H2. It was made in Indiana, and here's the story behind it. Now, if you follow me at all, you might say, Scotty, you're being a hypocrite. You said how bad Hummers were. Not this particular Hummer, and here's why. This is an H2. The original H1 Hummers were basically a military vehicle that GM decided to farm out and have a company build them and sell them as H1s. Now, the H1s were made fun of because they were humongously gigantic military vehicles. Try parking one. Many would not fit in a regular parking space. They had engine problems. They had transmission problems. But the H2 is a completely different ballgame. For example, the front is based on a 2500 Chevy truck and the back is based on a 1500. As you can see, the wheelbase is much smaller, and here's the reason this guy loves us. He's actually a professional fisherman. He's always pulling his bass boat. He can twirl this baby around in a Holiday Inn parking lot, park his boat, and everybody with their big trucks is like, I can't fit it in. This is not a giant wheelbase. This thing actually can handle better than a regular pickup. It has the power to tow, but it's not gigantic. These were all made in Indiana. They were made very religiously by the Hoosiers. Check it out. Look at this paint. This is the original paint job. Look at it. Now, the only thing that's faded away is a stupid door sticker, and who really cares about that anyway? As we go around, look at this thing. You wouldn't think it's as old as it is, would you? They put them together in Indiana. If you are seriously considering a Hummer, you want to get one of these H2s because they made the H3s in Shreveport, Louisiana. Let's just say the Cajuns didn't do such a good job putting them together. As everything else, they decided, oh, they're going to go smaller. They were underpowered. They were a big mistake. Of course, they don't make them anymore. Now, they don't make any of the Hummers anymore, but there's a reason for that too, and that's called profit motive. From what I read, it's assumed that General Motors lost thousands of dollars on every Hummer they sold. It was never a massive seller, but they were losing money on the deal. Originally, they had the other company build it, and then they got involved in the building of it, but it was never a profitable thing. And if you remember, GM went bankrupt. They filed for bankruptcy, and the federal government gave them money to keep them going. But one of the deals with the government was, you got to become profitable. And since these were losing money, guess what was the first thing to be axed? Something that they weren't making money at. Here's a Toyota example of the same thing. The original Previa vans were indestructible, totally indestructible, but they cost too much money to make because they had an engine in the middle, a drive shaft to the back, a front drive shaft to the front that ran the AC and the water pump and the power steering. They cost too much money to make. So Toyota replaced them with the Siennas. Now the Siennas are good vans, there's no arguing that. So you can't say the Previa van was a failure. They were great vehicles, but they cost too much money to make. So they made it with a Camry V6 engine. So they were using stuff they already had, and they got rid of the Previa van, which were excellent vans. They just got faded away for material reasons. Profit. Now the gentleman who owns this paid $55,000 for it. He recently got offered $60,000. And this isn't just $60,000 for a new one. This is one that has 334,960 miles on it. You may think that sounds insane, but that's the case. And one that was kept up like this. Now what a hood! You want working room? Here it is. This baby still has the original engine in it. Does it sound like it's falling apart? Well, let's see. It most certainly doesn't. Let's listen to the back. I don't hear any misfires. And we're here in Tennessee. It's been straight pipe, so if it's got a problem, you're gonna hear it coming out the back with no muffler. That's how well made these engines were. Now, he thought he might have needed a new engine, but a little while ago, he dropped the pan. All it was that stupid O-ring on the oil pump. Replace that and it sounds like this. Now he pulls his big bass boat all over the country, and yes, the transmission did go out at 300,000 miles. Well, even I would not gripe at getting 300,000 miles. I don't know how to make transmission. But, it's a guy who teaches shop. And they got, since it was for teaching purposes, a brand new transmission for $500. And of course, being a training school, it was installed free. So it cost them $500 for a brand new transmission for this thing. And now it's rolling back on the road again. Now, yes, they're gas hogs. It's basically a 2500 series engine. And since it's all-wheel drive front and back with this huge differential, he can get 14 miles a gallon driving it down highway speed. And it goes down to about 10 if he's pulling this big boat, which is another reason that you should always listen to Scotty. If you're going to really do a lot of heavy pulling all the time, get yourself a diesel. Diesels are made for towing. For something with this kind of mileage on it, and he's still towing these boats, and it's still the original engine, I'd say they were built pretty well in Indiana. Now, yes, it's not efficient and green like this electric Chinese scooter, but if you're driving down the road, are you going to feel safe in this or in this thing? You're not going to tow much with an electric scooter, but this thing tows over 8,200 pounds, and to make it better, he took off all that crazy air stuff, and now it's much better for towing. Otherwise, you can modify these things to your heart's content. It was a 30-minute job swapping it out. These things are fun to work on, but they're also easy to work on. And like I say, you can get parts all over the place for these things. Sure, they don't make them anymore, but they were made from parts from all over the place to begin with. People collect them. There's always going to be parts availability for these things. If you're looking at one of these, you can't beat one of these Southern trucks. Check it out. The frame looks like it just came out of the factory. If you're looking at a Northern one, after all, they were made in Indiana, and you hit that frame with a hammer and it crunches and it's rotten, run as fast as you can away, unless you're going to get it for virtually nothing and you're going to do a frame off restoration. And even then, it's not worth it. You can always find a Southern one somewhere. Maybe it's all beat up, but the frame's still solid. Take it for a spin. And check this. This is factory. Put it in reverse. Out comes the backup mirror. Cool. Now everybody says, oh, these Hummers are so big. Not the H2s. Watch this. Here we are in the street. We're going to turn around. We even made it past the stop sign. Look at that. Here we are going around in circles in this big old Hummer. Sometimes looks can be deceiving. This thing turns on a dime. Now, of course, you feel high up in the air, even though it's a big, heavy vehicle. When you step on the gas, it doesn't throw you in the back of your seat, but it gets you moving down the road. Those pickets go flying by pretty quick. And of course, it's got all the stock features of a Denali. It's a luxury inside, This isn't just some stripped down army vehicle. One button, all the windows go down, every single one of them. You're pulling a boat, you gotta look out fast, down they go, no problems. Or if you don't know how to drive and you get in the water, you can jump out real fast. And you think, okay, it's a big truck high up here, rides like crap, like an 18-wheeler. No, this thing has one smooth ride on it. It goes down the road smooth. So being an honest man, I gave you an honest approval. Yeah, I've always said bad things about certain Hummers. If you're looking for a Hummer, and you can find an H2 like this, that's what you want. Forget the original ones. Forget the H3s. They were rolling piles of junk. But these H2s, it's another ball game entirely if you want a large vehicle for towing stuff that's smooth, that actually can turn on a dime. Hey, you might think about an H2. Just make sure you got a bit of scratch. The last guy that wanted to buy this from him had a wad of hundreds with $50,000 worth, and he still didn't want to sell it to him. And here's some bonus questions and answers. TTA Meg says, Scotty, I looked at a 2010 Ford Police Interceptor with a nice interior at 100,000 miles. It looks rust-free. There might be a whine from the rear end, but I need to take it to a mechanic. Seller wants $4,500. Does it sound like a good buy? Buying an old cop car, generally they have the heck beat out of them by the police. That is the problem. Now, you have your mechanic look at it and see what's going on with it. What the heck? You never know. Maybe it's in halfway decent shape. 100K is kind of low mileage for one of those. too, so, I mean, you never really know. Also, put on your thinking cap. If they beat the heck out of those things, you want to buy something that's worn out. Now, if you have a trusted mechanic, if you got a mechanic like me, I'm open-minded. If somebody brought me one of those, I say, come on, bring it over. Let me check it out. I'll tell you what kind of shape it's in. I'll tell you if it's a good vehicle or not. I'm honest about it, and I know how they are, so I can tell you if it's good or bad. And if you got a mechanic like that, what the heck? Go ahead and take a look at it. Have them check it out first, though. Don't just buy it. Oh, I really want a cop car. Buy it and find out it's falling apart. And you do need a good mechanic. Just realize that. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.